Well, this is our top focus here at 7 p.m. Government summons pro-tobacco and BJP MP from Allahabad, Shyam Charan Gupta. Gupta has been summoned by Parliamentary Affairs Minister Venkaiah Naidu. Remember, SC Gupta was in the eye of the storm for supporting Dilip Gandhi's views that tobacco and cancer are not linked. Sources say Shyam Charan Gupta may be axed from the parliamentary panel. Well, to debate more on this going controversy that has gone throughout the week, I have Dr. Sujila Maini, President of Tobacco Control Foundation of India. Also, Dr. Sambit Patra, National Spokesperson of the BJP. We are expecting to be joined by C.R. Keswan, spokesperson of the Congress, very shortly. But my first question to Dr. Patra. Dr. Patra, this has been going on. This controversy has been going on for a while now. I just wanted a little bit of clarification on the reports that have been coming in. Has the Prime Minister taken personal interest in this, sir?
See, I am no one to comment on the Prime Minister's view or the government's action, but I can only reflect upon the broad view of what the government thinks of, because the Finance Minister of the country, Mr. Arun Jaitley, yesterday, while he was conducting a press conference after the National Executive Meet of BJP completed, when this question was asked, he was absolutely clear in saying that the intention of the government is absolutely clear. Multi-pronged attack on tobacco use in this country, and all that can be done to lower the use of tobacco and to save precious lives of Indians will be done by this government.
Sir, do you believe that there should be action taken against these MPs? Should they be axed from the parliamentary panel as the reports are being suggested?
See, though I would not preempt as to what would happen and how the government would act, but the government has made it absolutely clear. Both the government and the Bharatiya Janata Party have distanced themselves from the statement made by these Member of Parliament. They were quite, I think, ridiculous statement that these Member of Parliament have made. And the Health Minister, upon being asked about this, has told categorically that the intention of the Health Ministry is see to it that the tobacco use is reduced, that the pictorial depiction thing, that was put in abeyance for a while, will surely be taken into consideration in a measured way, in the sense that on merits these decisions would be taken and not on individual statements.
I'm coming back to you on that, sir. Let me just quickly go across to Dr. Sujila Maini, who is the President of the Tobacco Control Foundation of India. Also, Mr. Keswan from the Congress has also joined us. Before I go to Mr. Keswan, ma'am, these pictorial warnings that are being spoken about, how much of an impact do you believe increasing the size of the pictorial warnings would have on tobacco users?
Ankit, I have concerns about increasing the size of the pictorial warnings, because I feel that increasing the size will not make much impact. In fact, rather than working on the size of the pictorial warnings, we should work on the content of the message. That is more important. The content of the message is really very vague, and it doesn't create much of a fear amongst the mind of the smokers. And also, what I feel, increasing the size will not make much of an impact. We need to go in for a complete ban. We need to go in for a total ban, like we did in the Delhi Ministry, with the Delhi government right now. This is the increasing the size or reducing increasing the age limit of smokers and other such measures. I don't believe they haven't worked till far. I am, before being the President of Tobacco Control Foundation of India, Ma'am,
before I go to my political guests, I just one quick question to you. What did you make of comments made by BJP MPs? You know, those who are saying that there is no link between tobacco and cancer.
I don't know how to react with all this, Ankitji. I don't know how to react with all this. It is actually shocking that such our honorable ministers are making such comments. They should, in fact, either they are not aware, they are not well read, or they have some vested interest linking tobacco. That there is no link between tobacco and cancer. That doesn't make that doesn't actually, it is actually, I feel,
the entire country,
I feel
in
amused
fact,
about
ma'am, is
all
pondering
this.
over the same,
the country. See, are we made of
what you are
stones? Are we
saying.
not made of flesh?
Let me very quickly go across to the Congress spokesperson here, Mr. Keswan. Thank you so much for joining us here on Headlines today. My first question to you, sir, the PM is taking interest. Sambit Patra was saying that the government has made it very clear that they do not adhere to what these MPs have said. It is a ridiculous comment. But do you believe just distancing themselves from the comments of not one but four of the MPs of the BJP, is that enough? Shouldn't the government be taking some action? Shouldn't these members of parliament be axed from the panel, the parliamentary panels that they hold as of now? Well, I think we have lost that line to Mr. Keswan.
I have a point to make.
Mr. Keswan, yes, Amit, please go ahead.
Ankit, before you ask this to my esteemed friend, I mean, once you get the connection of his, Mr. Keshavan, something that the nation should know is, I mean, the first person who in fact descended to the notification of increasing the pictorial size to 85% was the Congress member of parliament from Nagar Kurnool in Telangana, that is Nandi Ilayya. Nandi Ilayya was the first one to dissent that this notification should not come in. The second Congress member of parliament, Mr. Mudda Hanume Gowda from Congress itself. Let's see what he has written in the letter. He has said we need to hear more from the tobacco farmers, tobacco manufacturers and tobacco consumers. That is why we thought the notification should be kept in abeyance.
Sambit,
just
point
imagine
taken.
This is
point
what
absolutely
was,
taken. Point absolutely taken that the Congress member of parliament
what he had to say.
So the Congress
take your point. Today cannot play a holy cow.
I take your point on that, but tell me one thing.
Keeping this whole thing in abeyance.
Tell me one thing, Sambit. I take your point about the Congress MPs saying what they were.
With your
but tell me one thing, Sambit. Does that give any credence to what the BJP MPs have been saying? One of them is the head of the panel, of the parliamentary panel on tobacco. Why don't you set an example? You have the Congress people, whatever they have been saying, whatever wrong they have been saying, you don't have to adhere to that. Set an example, ask them from the panel. An example, you have the Congress people, whatever they have been saying, whatever wrong they have been saying, you don't have to adhere to that. Set an example, ask them from the panel.
आवाज ही नहीं आ रही.
It seems there is some audio problem there in the line with Dr. Sambit Patra also. In the meanwhile, let me quickly go across to our other guest on the show, Dr. Mani. Ma'am, do you think that the government, apart from as the Prime Minister and the Health Minister have been saying that they will look into measure response on increasing the pictorial warning, do you think that it's high time that the government take action against such MPs so a strong message goes across?
Is asking something?
Ma'am, I was asking you that do you think the government should take action against such MPs? They are, in fact, these MPs are members of the parliamentary panel who are discussing, the use of tobacco. Do you think that the government should take a strong action against them so that a strong message is sent across?
Ankit, the government should take a strong action against such ministers, because such a statement made by the honorable ministers of the country makes tobacco more socially acceptable. This is the major lacuna. Tobacco is socially accepted in the society. We have like we cannot consume alcohol and be in the office during the day, but you can anytime smoke and come to the office.
Yes.
So it is a social accepted it makes the thing socially acceptable. And also I feel the government should take a strong action, because either there are some vested interests. Definitely I am saying that, because we are not in dearth of researchers, and we don't want researchers. Let me be very clear.
I have my other guests back. The line is back with them. Ma'am, just hold on your thoughts for a second. Mr. Keswan, I was before we lost you, the question that I was asking you was, Should the Prime
Uncle, can I
Minister
finish my
set
point?
an example?
There was a technical problem.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Please go ahead, sir.
At least I would actually we had the
No, see, basically this is what I was trying to say. You said, ma'am, let me finish, please.
Ma'am, let other guests also speak. Mr. Keswan, please go ahead.
Yeah, can I? Yeah, Ankit, I was saying this. You said, Prime Minister has taken strong action. Ground reality is Shyam Charan Gupta is still a member, and tomorrow the standing committee is meeting. So the issue is simple. You said whether the bizarre statements were made, outlandish, preposterous statements were made by 4 BJP MPs in succession. What did you think? You thought probably they were ill-informed, they were illogical, maybe they were not even aware and they were ignorant. No, but when this conflict of interest of Shyam Charan Gupta, the BD Baron and the BD King with the 250 crore business was established, you started to think whether this is a dubious smokescreen. These people are sending advertent, deliberate messages saying tobacco is not related to cancer. Tobacco maybe even be medicinal, because they want to basically misrepresent facts to privately profit and personally benefit from this. This has been categorically established. So my three questions are this. See, on October 15, 2014, when Dr. Harshvardhan was the health minister, let me complete, please.
Yeah.
When Dr. Harshvardhan was the health minister on October 15, 2014, I have a notification. The BJP had a notification here, very clearly asking for 85% of the pictorial warnings. The issue is not just 85% of the pictorial warnings. People may have differences, but the crux is the conflict of interest. He said, we should definitely do this, but suddenly the same BJP government has done a U-turn.
Let me take that question. Let me take that question to Sambit Patra. This is exactly what I was also asking him.
Should not have commercial interest.
Mr. Patra,
let me ask one more supplement.
No, you can't. You just cannot ask.
I need to add on one important point.
Before all of us together speaking would not serve the purpose.
Yes. Let me answer the question.
And to add to that. Well taken that the health minister is going to take some action on it. The pictorial, they are going to take a measured response as far as the pictorial warning is concerned. Well taken that Mr. Jaitley comes out and says that the BJP distances itself from what these ministers have said. But the point here, sir, is if the conflict of interest has been established, why not set an example? The people are pondering over whether there is some sort of collaboration, some sort of complicity. Why not set an example? Ask them from the parliamentary panel.
Discussion. He will be in a better position to tell you that pictorial warnings
let Dr. Patra answer that. Ma'am, please let Dr. Patra answer that.
I see every day.
Ma'am, I will request you let Dr. Patra answer that. Please go ahead, sir.
First, as I told you, I'll definitely come to the part of conflict of interest also. As I told you, both the Congress member of parliaments who were part of this committee, in fact, have descended towards the notification of pictorial warning. They did not want the pictorial warnings, and I have even read out the statements. This is for my friend Mr. C.R. Keshavan. So you should not posture on the national television otherwise to what your Congress member of parliaments have postured in the meeting of the committee. Now, having said that, as far as the conflict of
interest.
Now coming to the conflict of interest part, do you remember, Mr. Keshavan, that Mr. Vijay Mallya during your period was a member
Mr.
of
Patra,
standing...
what is happening is whenever a question is asked to you, you are saying the Congress did that in there. Nobody is answering the question.
Allow me to complete my sentence. Allow me to complete my sentence first. You all cannot speak over me. You allow me to complete my point, because I was making a technical point. Because over here, when Vijay Mallya was part of the Standing Committee on Civil Aviation, in spite of having Kingfisher Airlines with him, when this question of conflict of interest was risen, then you remember you had cited the laws of Lok Sabha Standing Committee. And in this case, the laws of Lok Sabha Standing Committee says that this is not conflict of interest, best left to the Speaker to take a decision on. The government has nothing to do in it.
But the point here is that it was the BJP government, it was the BJP that had recommended these members into certain panels. Now why don't you recommend it to the Speaker that they should be axed and set an example? I'm completely out of time here. There were some technical difficulties. I would have wanted more time on this, but as of now, completely out of time. Thank you so much, Dr. Patra. Mr. Keswan, I would have loved to come back to you, but we are completely out of time. There were certain technical difficulties there, but of course, the debate raging on. Shouldn't the BJP now set an example, axe these MPs from the panel for making these such preposterous comments on the tobacco use? Probably will set the record straight.